What's up, everyone? This is Ryuki here, and today let's talk Street Fighter V Championship Edition Winter Update. Now, for those who don't know, the update just happened literally by the time of this recording, not that far long ago, but by the time this is uploaded, most of you by now probably already know what's in the update, what to expect, and what there is to know based off what was revealed so far in the winter update. But I'll be giving my opinions and thoughts of this winter update. So for me, there's really not much there. Not in the sense of anything new per se. I mean, given there are things that are changing in the area of gameplay, I guess. And they have this new V shift, which is more of a defense mechanism, but then V reversals might be totally useless. Now, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how this is all going to pan out once this update rolls out for Street Fighter V. And when they started the stream, they did show Rose. Rose had a bit of spotlight and showing the mocap and what they've been doing with the character. And it's interesting. Rose definitely looks 100 times better compared to her Street Fighter IV counterpart, which is, oh man, Street Fighter IV is hard on the eyes. I tell you, it really is. But nonetheless, Rose looks great, and seeing her come back, it makes sense. And she should have been in the roster from the get-go, in my opinion. But she wasn't there, but she's there now. So Rose is back. Then, besides that, during the live stream they had, and I'm skipping a bunch of stuff because when it comes to the update, I mean, yeah, there's little technical things about the gameplay and what they're changing and what they're adding, but I don't think this is going to be the last update. So I'm pretty sure as soon as this update comes out, there's going to be a character that's going to need a nerf, a buff, whatever. This happens with a lot of fighting games. So that's why, for me, I just want to kind of skip over all the little technical stuff because I wouldn't be surprised if something is changed down the line at least one more time. But as for the characters, being that this is the final season for the Street Fighter characters anyways, there's still quite a bit to go through. I mean, they did reveal Dan, more of Dan, with a lot of nods to, at least in my opinion, to Mr. Karate from Art of Fighting. But some of you may know this character from King of Fighters. And Mr. Karate is more of a alias, in my opinion, than anything. I mean, it's really the mask, per se. But anyways, for anyone that played Art of Fighting, you got Ryu, and then you have Rio, and then you have Mr. Karate. And anyways, I'm not going to get into all that, but yeah, Dan had that kind of costume. At least it seemed like it was a reference to that character, in my opinion. Then there was some of his attacks, which surprised me, which are also reminiscent to certain SNK characters. But that's neither here or there. Dan still fights weird. And I'm curious to see what high-level gameplay is going to look like when it comes to that character. Because Dan, he still looks like he's going to be one of those characters that's just... It's going to be fun to play with, but tricky to master. That's just my opinion. And then going forward, they also revealed this collaboration with Steve Aoki, something like that. He does music and whatever. I didn't care too much about that portion of things. No offense to the artist, I just didn't care. But his music, he's gonna be doing some sort of music for Street Fighter. And then, and besides him promoting his brand, his merch. And then you had the reveal of 11 at some point during all this, towards the end. And everyone thought this was going to be like the final character. Like this was the mystery reveal. Nope. That's not the last character. In fact, 11 is a bonus character. So for anyone that decides to get the season pass, he's thrown in there as a bonus. So that was interesting. But to me, the 11 reveal was bittersweet. So it was sweet at the fact that they revealed 11. Looks great. Bitter that he's just this Mukujin character for what it looks like. So at least for the gameplay they revealed so far, it's to me, I have mixed feelings about it. I'm not too excited, but it's cool to see 11 nonetheless. So it's until there's more revealed on what he or what 11 can do as a character, it's in the air. He just looks cool. That's about it. And then you also had the Street Fighter team, the members behind it, they also decided to show Oro, which was pretty cool to see. Oro had his turtle in his hand. He had the floating Blanca. He was looking like he was ready for combat. What's surprising about this is that everyone sees both his arms. For those who don't know, Street Fighter Third Strike, his arm is always missing. So yeah, well, it looks like it's missing. Anyways, besides that, that's pretty much it. I mean, given there is some concerns I have, at least a slight concern that has to do with the DLC portion of things, and mainly with the premium pass. So, for those who don't know, I'm pretty sure most of you know by now, maybe some of you, or most of you, but for those who don't, there's the season pass, the typical character pass, which is listed currently for $25 plus tax. Obviously, the price varies where you're at. And then there's the $40 premium pass. And this comes with, a little bit extras, basically costumes or cosmetics, little things like that. And I just have mixed feelings about this. I feel like it's writing on the wall for what has yet to come, and not for Street Fighter V, because this is pretty much for the way things sound, the end of the road, essentially, eventually for Street Fighter V when it comes to DLC characters, but for what's yet to come with Street Fighter 6. Now, there's not much known on Street Fighter 6. If anything, there's really nothing known about it outside of the rumors and leaks, which I'm not going to get into here. I'm not going to bother with that until things are made official. But my concern is that when Street Fighter 6 happens to be announced at some point in the future, whenever that happens, obviously I will not be surprised that Capcom announces, oh, well, we're going to come out with Street Fighter 6 and here's a character pass and we'll give you less than half the roster. Now, for those who don't know, Street Fighter V had a terrible launch. The roster was beyond, in my opinion, beyond vanilla. It was, oh man, Street Fighter V it had a bad launch. If I had to compare Street Fighter V at launch to Street Fighter today, is night and day what the game has become. In other words, Street Fighter now is 100 times better than what it was when it launched, in my opinion. It just is. When Street Fighter launched, it was just, oh man, the roster, the playing online, it was just terrible. There was really nothing there. It was bare bones. Nothing, almost. But with Street Fighter 6, who knows what's yet to come. And hopefully Capcom learned from their mistakes with Street Fighter 5. Hopefully. But for me, my concern is, and I'm just going to talk about the DLC portion of things, is that, let's just say hypothetically, Street Fighter 6 gets announced in the future, then they put like 15 characters, which would be ridiculous if that was to happen. And then they say, well, you want them extra 5 characters or 6 characters, you gotta get that character pass. But because we're launching, we're not gonna do just character pass, we'll do premium pass, which is $40 on top of a $70 game. For next gen, of course, or whatever. So that's you're talking about 70 plus 40. That's quite a lot of money. If that is to happen, that is. And this is hypothetical. And it's just annoying to me if that happens, because Street Fighter as a series has so much characters, especially now. I mean, you have Final Fight in the same universe as Street Fighter, and also rival schools. There's so many characters you could pick and pull from and mash up, and who knows where the story will go in Street Fighter. it will make no sense for the roster to be that small, and I hope it's not. I really hope the roster doesn't release that small for Street Fighter 6. I'm keeping my fingers crossed for 25 plus characters. That may sound like a little bit to some of y'all, but that's the way these companies do things now these days is questionable. But anyways, my concerns with the Premium Pass is that this is going to be something going into the future with other games, at least with Street Fighter, and I just hope it's not. I just hope it doesn't turn into this ridiculous thing like what happened with Koei Tecmo's Dead or Alive, where Dead or Alive 5 last round the writing was on the wall, and then DOA 6 came out and it was far worse than Dead or Alive 5 when it came to their DLC practices. I hope that Capcom does not go that route and just get ridiculous with it, because it will really hurt the brand of Street Fighter if they do that. But I'm hoping that they don't. I hope they don't go that route. I'll remain skeptical. It seems like the team they got on board right now, handling Street Fighter 5, at least the end portions of it, are doing their best to make the game good. Or at least iron out the flaws with it. It would have been nice though. In the winter update, they came out of nowhere and they were like, oh, by the way, we're doing one more final story episode to wrap up this cliffhanger ending for Street Fighter 5 and the Shadowfall story. That would have been nice. If they were to do that, that would have been like a bang to end Street Fighter 5, just at least in the story department, like one last episode or whatever they'll call it, and just wrap up that whole story for Street Fighter 5. Even though some will say, yeah, well, the story was wrapped up at the end of Shadowfall, Shaolin, whatever, you know. But regardless, it would have been nice to have just one more episode to that, especially with all the characters that are in there now. It just makes perfect sense. But I just don't see that happening. But who knows? But it would have been nice to see just one more episode, or at least expansion to the story. That would have been great. But nonetheless, the winter update for Street Fighter 5 was interesting to watch. There was a lot of information to take away from it, whether if you're looking at it for the characters or some of the new mechanics they're adding to the game to change it up, especially the more defensive stuff now, that I think is going to be really interesting to see how that's going to turn out in tournament play, especially the comebacks, because oh man, I'm expecting to see some crazy stuff. Somebody doing some sort of strings or combos, and then someone just avoids all that, and then boom, makes an epic comeback. That's going to be crazy to see stuff like that happen. And I'm pretty sure something like that's going to happen. But nonetheless, the winter update was interesting to watch. I am curious about the next update, whatever they'll call it next. But, to see more of Rose and potentially the rival school character. I mean, that would be nice to see more of that. And that's pretty much it for now. I was reading that Mark ad. Yeah, I kind of hit a roadblock here. Now that I think about it. So I mean, you got new V skills, V triggers, things being expanded on. 11's coming. Well, 11's in, not coming back because it's not the same character from Third Strike per se. Dan has some weird moves, some references to SNK characters, in my opinion. DLC, the Premium Pass, Character Pass, just typical stuff. I mean, sort of typical. But you have Dan, Rose, Oro, and Akira. And 11, plus the mystery character that we still don't know about, whether if it's a guest character, new character, or a returning character is yet to be seen. But I am curious to see who this character is. How crazy would it be if it's another rival school character, though? Oh, man. Oh, man. But I'll do, in the future, a separate video just talking about Street Fighter 6. Because it's unavoidable. I think at this point, eventually at some points, Street Fighter 6 will be announced at some point in the future, obviously. And pretty much this is sort of we're hitting the end of the road with Street Fighter 5. So any more I got to this, I keep repeating myself now. But anyways, let me know y'all thoughts down below on the winter update. Was there anything you liked, disliked? You have any concerns? Feel free to comment down below. Have a conversation about this. And if not, well, okay. Anyways, drop a like if you like what you're seeing here. Feel free to hit that subscribe button because it is greatly appreciated if you decide to. And if not, well, thanks for giving my channel a shot. And anyways, as always, this is Ryuki here saying thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and until next time, everyone, sayonara.